Richard Childress is about to do something most NASCAR fans never expected to see again. At 80 years old, the Hall of Famer is returning to competition after accepting an unexpected challenge from Cleetus McFarland. For years, Richard Childress has been known as one of NASCAR's most successful team owners, not one of its competitors. But that's about to change as he climbs back behind the wheel for one of the most talked-about racing events of the summer. The announcement caught fans by surprise, and it didn't take long for drivers across the garage to start reacting, including Preece, who had everyone laughing with one unforgettable comment. So why did Richard Childress decide that now was the right time to race again? Stay with us until the end, because we're breaking down how Cleetus McFarland made this happen, what Richard Childress had to say, why Preece couldn't stop joking about it, and why this event is becoming much bigger than anyone expected. Richard Childress has spent decades building one of NASCAR's most successful organizations. As the owner of Richard Childress Racing, he's celebrated championships, Daytona 500 victories, and countless memorable moments. While fans still see him around the garage every race weekend, very few expected to ever see him competing again. That changed when Cleetus McFarland announced the driver lineup for his New England 900 at Stafford Motor Speedway. Among all the names on the list, one stood above the rest: Richard Childress. At 80 years old, Richard Childress is returning to competition to race a Crown Victoria in the sold-out New England 900. The event has quickly become one of Grassroots racing's biggest attractions, bringing together NASCAR stars, racers from different series, and automotive personalities for one unforgettable night. For many fans, the biggest question wasn't whether Richard Childress could still drive. It was simply, why now? The answer starts with Cleetus McFarland. Ever since joining Richard Childress Racing earlier this season, Cleetus McFarland and RCR have built a relationship that has gone far beyond a typical driver agreement. While learning stock car racing, Cleetus McFarland has become part of the organization, and that connection eventually led to an idea that few believed would actually happen. According to Cleetus McFarland, the people inside Richard Childress Racing kept encouraging him to make the invitation. As Cleetus McFarland explained, the guys at RCR have been beating me up, saying, "You've got to get Richard Childress in a race. You've got to do it. He'll do it." At first, it sounded like one of those conversations that never goes anywhere. Instead, Richard Childress accepted. That decision instantly became one of the biggest talking points surrounding the New England 900. For Richard Childress, this isn't about chasing another trophy or proving he can still outrun younger drivers. His legacy in NASCAR was secured long ago through decades of success as both a driver and team owner. That's exactly why this announcement caught so much attention. Fans aren't just looking forward to seeing another famous name on the entry list, they're looking forward to seeing a Hall of Famer step back into the driver's seat, simply because he still loves racing. Moments like these don't happen very often, and that's what makes this return feel genuinely special. Even though Richard Childress hasn't competed regularly in decades, his competitive spirit has never disappeared. Anyone who has followed NASCAR knows he's always been passionate about racing, whether he's standing on top of the pit box or celebrating victories with his team. Now he'll get to experience the excitement from inside the car once again. The announcement also produced one of the funniest moments of race week. Preece, last year's New England 900 winner, was asked about racing against Richard Childress. Without missing a beat, Preece smiled and said, "Hell yeah, I already told him to hold my watch." Longtime NASCAR fans immediately understood the joke. Years ago, Richard Childress famously removed his watch before confronting Kyle Busch after a Truck Series race, creating one of the sport's most memorable moments. When reporters joked that Richard Childress might end up roughing him up instead, Preece laughed again and replied, "Well, he can hold my watch then." But after the laughs, Preece became serious. He explained that he was genuinely excited to race alongside Richard Childress, and revealed something many fans didn't know. According to Preece, Richard Childress had told him that he actually raced at Stafford Speedway many years ago, making this return even more meaningful. Preece added, "I'm happy. He's going to enjoy that experience." That respect says a lot. This isn't simply about putting a famous name into a race. It's about one generation of racers welcoming another back onto the track. The New England 900 itself has grown into something unique. Unlike traditional NASCAR weekends, this event mixes experienced racers with internet creators, grassroots competitors, and professional drivers in identical Crown Victoria race cars. The result is an unpredictable event where personalities from completely different backgrounds compete together on equal terms. This year's lineup includes Ryan Preece, Jesse Love, Bobby Dale Earnhardt, Downforce Danny, Squirrel McNutt, and several other familiar names from the racing world alongside Cleetus McFarland himself. Adding Richard Childress to that field makes the event even more special. It also highlights how much Cleetus McFarland's influence has grown over the past year. Not long ago, many people questioned whether a YouTube creator belonged anywhere near NASCAR. Since then, Cleetus McFarland has signed with Richard Childress Racing, continued developing as a stock car driver, and built relationships throughout the garage. Now, he's doing something very few people could have imagined. He's bringing one of NASCAR's legendary team owners back into competition. Whether Richard Childress finishes at the front of the field or simply enjoys the experience almost doesn't matter. For many fans, seeing an 80-year-old Hall of Famer put on a helmet again is already a victory. It reminds everyone why racing has always been about more than trophies. Whether he finishes near the front or the back probably won't be the biggest story. Just seeing Richard Childress put on the helmet and take the green flag again is something many NASCAR fans never expected to witness. When the green flag waves at Stafford Speedway, plenty of eyes will naturally be focused on the younger drivers. But don't be surprised if the loudest cheers are reserved for the veteran climbing into a race car one more time. Because after decades spent leading one of NASCAR's greatest organizations, Richard Childress is proving that the desire to race never really goes away. And thanks to one unexpected invitation from Cleetus McFarland, fans are about to witness another unforgettable chapter in his incredible racing story. If you enjoyed today's update, make sure to subscribe to NASCAR Nation News so you never miss the biggest NASCAR stories, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.